Hello, Max Topolou, your source for all things Everton. I'm Jay Palston. I'm here to talk about Everton's pre-season goings-on, what we've seen from the team, who's been playing, who's caught the eye, that sort of thing. And obviously, the countdown to the season is very much on. We're only a couple of days away now to Monday, and come Saturday, we'll be back at Goodison, obviously, for the Brighton game. I actually won't be. I'm on holiday. I'm absolutely crushed, but I've had my fair share of Everton so far this summer. I've been to 3 of the 5 games. And yeah, we've won one. We've won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. You know, as I say, that was at Coventry, Preston and Roma. I did not go to any of those games and care what the result was. Obviously, didn't want us to get beat. Didn't want us to get beat, period. But didn't really care what the result was. I'll be totally honest with you. And I think a lot of people are the same. They kind of want to go, see the team, see some of the new players, see some of the young kids get a chance, maybe see what the manager's going to try. We saw a couple of different things in pre-season, obviously new players coming in. Some players we haven't seen for a little while, which is always part of the fun of it. But yeah, I really don't care what the results are, as long as we get beat 6-7-0 or something, then that's obviously very silly and not something that you want to see happening. But I think, you know, for example, we drew 3-3 with Sligo our first game Everton played for exactly 2 months at that point. I think Sligo, they're not still in their season, I think, at the minute. So it's kind of one of them where, you know, you're going to get mad results that in the normal league season, if Everton played a team like Sligo, I think they would beat them by a couple of goals. You'd like to think anyway. I think other than Roma, you'd expect Everton to beat all the teams they played, and obviously they only won 1 game. So it's one of them. For me, I don't really care what the result is. Just glad to see some of the new players get to go, tick off a couple of grounds on the way. And yeah, I'd say there we started off 3-3 draw against Sligo, obviously. I think that game was kind of brought in because Seamus Coleman, 15 years at the club, terrific servant, and obviously has huge ties back to that part of the world. Mason Holgate scored, one of the players I'm kind of alluded to before, someone we haven't seen for a while playing for Everton. And yeah, saw him a couple of times with the armband a little bit as well. Doesn't do a great deal for me. 5th choice centre-back this season, so I think it'd be in everyone's best interest if we can find him a shooter. Yusuf Chamiti scored a couple of goals, a couple of nice goals as well. Obviously earned as a 3-0 draw. I think we were actually 3-1 down as well, which obviously not hugely ideal, but he did well then. I think you're hoping he's going to kick on, but then, you know, a couple of games later you find out that he's injured and he looks like he's going to be out for the next month or 2, you'd imagine, at the very least, kind of thing. You know, he's in an air boot, and it's, you know, it's not Everton pre-season unless a player gets injured. I think, I remember back about 10 years ago when Ross Barker got injured, I think pretty much on the eve of the season. We played Leicester away. I think it was very close to the start of the season. Obviously he was out for a little while with that. Dwight McNeil got injured last pre-season, which was obviously bad for us, terrible for the balance of the team, meant that we had to play James Garner out on the right and stuff. So not an ideal start to the campaign there, but yeah, it's a shame. But he's got a season to get back, and you know, he'll be in the squad as well, I'm sure, and he'll get more minutes than he did last campaign anyway. That's kind of how I'd imagine it. And then we went and played Salford away at the Peninsula ground I went to last season, actually. A very strange stadium compared to, you know, very much used to Goodison, I think, when I go to any other stadiums. But yeah, nice ground anyway. I enjoyed the day there. Didn't go to this game, as I say, but took the lead. James Garner, terrific free kick. Obviously, big season for Garner again. Injured at the minute, as I mentioned before, with Chamiti and injuries. But yeah, we'll have to see what goes on there, because I think he really impressed me first half of the season. Second half of the season, I just didn't feel like we saw enough from him. I think as games went on, players like Harrison, McNeil, obviously the striker played up front, Mikalenko a little bit when his form dropped off a little bit compared to where it was. I feel like those players kind of got stick before Garner did, and then Garner would maybe do something in a game and it would be kind of like, okay, it's all kind of forgotten about. But I just felt he tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season, maybe a little bit tired, kind of bit of tiredness coming in, sorry, because obviously he didn't play loads of season before. He played a fair bit, but it's not like he played every single game, every single minute kind of thing, whereas I think in Sean Dyche's man, he definitely would do in this team. So yeah, and he rotated the team a little bit, and obviously Salford came back, scored a couple of goals. I think they actually lost first game of the League Two season, so that's quite funny. But yeah, it's one of them. You bring young players on and you change the team around, concede a couple of goals, move on. Coventry, so I went to that game. That was an interesting one. I think quite like the stadium. Anyone else went there, I thought it was decent. It's not like, obviously not absolutely brilliant, but it's one of the newer grounds, and it's, yeah, I thought it was nice. We took a decent away following. I think it was a Tuesday night, so you know, I think for a lot of people it would have been at least a sort of 2-hour drive. I think it was about 2 hours 15 or something for me. So yeah, didn't play well in this game at all. And we had a couple of chances, and the eye looked quite sharp. I thought Booman looked good, but you know, you look at that back four. I think it was Young, Keane, Holgate, and Coleman, Virginia in net as well. So you've not got a great chance. Obviously, Coventry were a decent side for you know, second tier and what have you. Ellis Sims scoring as well is always a laugh when it comes to Everton. But yeah, we didn't play well at all this day, and it's obviously, it's not nice watching your team get beaten and not playing well as well. But I think I was sat near some people who were getting really annoyed, and that's their prerogative, fair enough, whatever. But I just kind of remember thinking, you know, just calm down a little bit. It's pre-season, it's that third game. A lot of young players on the pitch again, as I say, certainly towards the end of the match, and yeah, we were quite soundly beaten. But as I mentioned, I thought Booman quite well, and that carried on to the next game against Preston. Again, new ground. They've been to that one. Again, I thought it was nice. It was very similar to like Wigan and Bolton's ground. Obviously, this kind of neck of the woods, but lots more going on around it, and obviously Preston's super historical club, going way back even further than kind of what we'd say about Everton. But yeah, we played well this game and we won 3-0, and that's kind of all she wrote. Obviously, a couple of new signs coming in. Lindstrom looked sharp. He didn't do a great deal in the game until he scored a terrific free kick, but he looked sharp enough. Obviously, Jake O'Brien came on and scored. Cowling scored a penalty. I thought he looked better than he had done against Coventry. And I just think you kind of see it. Players go through the paces, and I think even after another couple of days more training, players getting fitter, sharper. Preston the manager just moved on today, actually, so I don't think they were a hugely testing opposition. Certainly not as good as Coventry, but I think that just kind of shows how it goes. You know, at the end of the day, keep the team together, players move on, players get fitter, players get better as the season comes closer, and I thought we looked quite good that game. Really impressed with Booman once again. O'Brien looked solid at the back. Virginia made a terrific save from, I think it was a Ryan Ledson header, actually, funnily enough, which was a bit of a blast from the past. But yeah, we looked good. We looked better than we had done, obviously, only a few days before. And that's why you definitely can't get too high or too low, in my opinion, when it comes to these pre-season games. And then on the weekend, we drew 1-1 Roma. Interesting seeing Roma there. Obviously, Paulo Dybala World Cup winner, De Rossi World Cup winner. Got a couple of other decent players as well. They scored a good goal in the first half. The first half when we were definitely on top. And again, I thought Booman looked pretty good. I thought Mikalenko looked solid. Obviously, come back into the side. Pickford was back in. O'Brien and Tarkovsky starting together. Praying it'll be those two for Brighton, assuming Bramley's not fit. Doesn't look like he will be. But yeah, I thought they looked good. And then obviously we conceded. Move on. But we looked all right again in the second half. Calvin-Lewin's got a good goal. Lovely finish from him. Ndiaye came on, looked really sharp. And I think a lot of people are saying they want to see him in rather than Decore in that sort of attacking midfield position. Fully on board with that. I think Decore's still going to play a big part this season, and so he should. He's been really good last 2 seasons. Dropped off a bit like Garner did in the second half of last season. Had an injury, and obviously Ramadan and what have you. I think that does play a bit of an effect. But yeah, I saw Decore getting a lot of stick, which I thought was, I don't know, just wasn't quite right, because if it wasn't for him, wouldn't be here. Same with Calvert-Lewin in terms of the goals he scored, how important they've been. I think Decore's actually been relatively consistent for Everton. He was really good under Benitez as well before he got injured there. It was kind of only Lampard who's not rating him with the last few managers we've had, because even Marco Silva actually wanted to sign him when he was here, and then obviously when he went to Fulham. But I was super excited about the signing of Ndiaye. I still am. I think he's going to be really good for us. I like what I've seen so far, but we've got to bet these players in. We've got the whole season with them, hopefully got a few years with them. They don't have to be rushed into the starting 11. He might come in, stink the gaff out for a couple of games. It must be difficult going from not playing much at Marseille, because he was out the team sort of towards the end of the campaign, not playing as much as he certainly was at Sheffield the season before. He's got to make that step up. He's got to get the fitness right. He's got to obviously be in line with the rest of the team. And as I say, Decore's not done much wrong to lose his place yet. So let them fight it out for each other. I'm sure Decore will come deeper as well, especially with Garner being out injured. Just again, he's obviously not getting any younger. Booman still young too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, but I'm not going to be kind of pulling my hair out if he's not playing come Saturday, because I said we've got the full season to watch him, and I'm sure he'll get on just fine for us. I think in terms of the rest of the players, the one name that stood out to me is Harrison Armstrong. I think when I saw him the first time, I think it was actually at Coventry. He's a big fella. He must be at least 6 foot, 6'1". I was kind of broke through at a youth level. He's now in the first team picture already. Will he fulfill like an Andre Gomez role where he'll be on the bench some weeks he won't be kind of out of nowhere, start the odd game, come on in the odd game? I'd be surprised. But at the end of the day, I think there's been a lot of talk about the academy again this summer, because even though we've sold players, Dobbin, Sims, Gordon, Tom Cannon, etc., it does feel like the rivers run slightly dry. So it is good to see players like Armstrong and like Dixon, like Metcalf, these players coming through, getting time on the bench. And obviously, I thought when he came on in pre-season, when he played, particularly against Preston as well, he just looks so assured in there. Looks like he's played a lot of football at a decent level, which is obviously good for a young player. But I'm sure Sean Dyche will know how to utilise him, and I'd be surprised if he's anything like a fixture in the team this season. But it's nice to see these players coming through, and I think he's kind of the one name that stood out to me in pre-season, barring the obvious, as NDI, Lindstrom, O'Brien, players we've never seen before kind of thing. So let's see what happens. Maybe we've got a decent player on our hands there. Let's hope and pray. But let me know your thoughts down below on Everton's pre-season goings on, the results, the performances, and let me know next season, where would you like to see Everton go on pre-season? Do you want to keep it up with this local-ish track, or do you want to see us maybe do something a bit more exciting? Let us know down below, and we'll see you next time. Nice one.